and welcome. Good morning to you for another early morning Sunday show. This is the early morning edition, the early morning edition, as it is 3 a.m. My back has been screaming all week long, and I getting out of bed, it's almost tears in your eyes. But it's been figured out. After 12 years, it's been figured out what my issue. It's arthritis, and the arthritis has just gotten really bad. So physical thought, all you can do is stretch. And I go in and we're doing this physical therapy, and there's more stretching. I go, do I have time for work? Because you guys don't want me, it's like an hour of stretching twice a day, and it's hurting worse. I don't, but yeah. Arthritis. So it explains a lot of things on why I can't do a lot of things, but what it does mean is I get up earlier for an early morning show. So what the hell? I think I'm just going to have to call it the late night show. We're going to change this pretty soon. It'll be the late night show with me, and my special guest will be Bobby Gass, because he's always up at this time. So cheers, everyone. Let's begin with some of these, huh? Start with that. That's the new clutch. I got that when it came out. Whenever that was, a long time ago. And it just takes me forever to get it showing. And a mauve, right? Mauve? I think so. We'll call that mauve. This, Sunrise on Slaughter Beach. Clutch has been around, get this, for 30 years. Almost 30 years. Oh, isn't like a hippopotamus man, is it? No, his head's just trimmed down. Kind of weird sci-fi. And they're out of Maryland. You don't often say the band's out of Maryland. Well, I guess Baltimore. So yeah, you would. This is their 13th album that they've done. And, at the record store day, you can see it up there on top. There's a clutch box set. So since I got that, I thought, well, I might as well I'll keep going with clutch, because I really, really do like them. And this album, if you like bluesy riffs, checks the box. If you like grisly vocals, let's check the box. If you like power drumming, boom, check the box. It has it all. It's an extremely good album. It's just the type, air guitaring it, having fun, jumping up and down. It's that kind of thing. I got a big tree in front of my window, because this is my office on the second floor. It faces out, or office music room, and that kind of blocks from everybody seeing what the hell I'm doing up here in my room, which is good when you start jumping around and stuff like this, except with fall, the leaves are falling. The album's very lyrical. Clutch, the one thing about Clutch is they like to write lyrics, and they like to tell a story, and they're very wordy, but it works. It sounds good. It is filled with thundering hard rock music. But for the Clutch fans, or for anybody else, they threw in some extra. They added in a vibraphone on the song, a theremin, just for fun. Let's do a theremin. We haven't done that. And they put in background singers. Not on everything, but they're on there. So this is just something a little different for Clutch. What I wrote, there's this one song, it's called Three Golden Horns. It cracks me up with the lyrics, because it says, jazz music corrupts our youth. It just keeps repeating it. Jazz music corrupts our youth. Jazz music corrupts our youth. It's like, aha, now we know. So stay away, kids. Stay away from jazz. Clutch says so. But for those of you, if you like really hard rock and you have not checked out the Clutch, I would think you already have. It's great. I truly enjoyed it and was very happy. And aren't those trilobites, isn't that called a trilobite, from the dinosaur days, where they're riding around on them? They got them on their heads. So I'm not quite sure. There might be a concept within this talking about it, but I'm just too busy jamming to the tunes and not really hearing what they're saying. And there's no lyrical. Oh no, there are some lyrics here. Ah. There's no lyrical sheet. Duh. I guess I'll play it again and read it. All right, there we go. And brought this in. Miles Davis. This is Miles Davis Alive, Bootleg Series number 7. That's what happened from 82 to 85. I think they're trying to compete with the, the Bob Dylan Bootleg Series, of course, the Grateful Dead, you have that. Well, Miles Davis, we're trying to do our thing too. This is a 2-album set, and the on beautiful white vinyl. Miles Davis looking with a mustache. Now, isn't that weird? Miles Davis and a mustache. You don't see that one too often. 82, so again from 80, was it? I said 82 to 85. A happy looking Miles Davis. And another one. 2-album set. There is also an expanded 3 CD set, which there we go. Still sealed. I haven't listened to this one yet. So Miles Davis in the 80s. Kinda a lot of people are like, whatever. It's, they felt that he had lost his stuff. Davis from 1975 to 1980 was, to see Miles Davis was like seeing Sasquatch. It just didn't happen. A sighting was just one of those rarities that, oh my God, is that Miles Davis? He had lost the love of music because he had a new love. 2 new loves. Sex and cocaine, heroin, whatever else, but basic sex and drugs. And he was locked up in his house. It was dark in there, and they would just bring in women. And he was married. Cicely Tyson was still around, taking care of him. But he was just a bastard. And so it was just this, that's all he wanted. That's all he did. Finally, by 80, he began to get it cleared up and began to listen to music again. And he heard what was happening with the 80s. There was this computer sound that was out there. It was the use of more synthesizer, and it intrigued him. He was watching MTV, and he goes, oh, that's a motherfucker. That's what Davis, I'm sure, would say. And so he got this interest in music. So this album is some of the music, some of the live stuff that he put out there, and also alternative takes. The very first track, Santana, I'm going to play a sample of that. That's never been out there before, so it's the first time. His trumpet playing on some of this sounds great. It really sounds great. The track I'm going to have, you don't really hear his trumpet on there. But some of this other stuff, it does. Some of it does have more of an 80s kind of the production with kind of more computer-generated sounds. Others does not. He takes and does a nice rendition of Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time. And there's also the tune they have on here, Star People, which he did on another album. And it has just it's a really cool, funky tune. Very, very nice. I thought his horn playing sounded really good, better than some of his mid-70s stuff on some of this music on here. But, it was just music again, you can hear it's changing, but that's how he was. He changed music already 5 different times. We're changing it again. Let's see what we can do. And, you know, by now he's getting pretty old. And I think he died in 92. But, yeah, from the bootleg series. This is neat to get. I think I ordered this directly from the Miles Davis website and got it in. So, is it essential? No, it's not. It's for us Miles Davis nuts. But it is some cool music. Though, just a warning, Clutch did say jazz is corrupting our youth. So, kids, beware. Play it at your own risk. Don't blame me. Let's get into this group. Flamin' Groovies. Yeah, a twofer. Okay, Flamin' Groovies out of San Francisco, 65 to 79. They have been called the greatest, most influential, legendary cult band ever. And there's some good reason for it. This is wonderful, greasy, bluesy rock and roll. Now the first one here, we got the radio service one, and I like this because he goes, if you don't have time to listen to the whole album, try these. And they give you 3 different songs to try on there, just if you don't have time. So it's to help out the DJs. Nice looking album. Isn't that beautiful? Back. It's on Kama Sutra, this is their second album, their second label. So, you know, they were having a hard time trying to find where they were going to fit in. So Flamingo, the second album, came out in 1970. On this album, they cranked up the amps and kicked up the temperature from their debut album. This really rocked. They stripped down their sound. And really, it's like taking their music, tossing it into 5th gear. It just roars out of your speaker. It is really good. There's just these great guitar rave ups. It's kick-ass. This is great. You know, to me, there's only one bad song on here, and it's called She's Falling Apart. And it's like their attempt at Psych music. And it has the elements of Psych. Again, it's 1970. It's so slow and syrupy. I mean, these guys are just, they're just kicking it. It's just so boom, 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 boom. And then they throw in this. It was out of place. It just, didn't like it at all. Way too slow. But this song, this album was just top notch. So, again, came out 1970. Now we have this one here, the Flamin' Groovies Now. And this was their album that they put out in 1978. This was at the end, toward the end of their career, on Sire Records. So another record label. And they were just having a hard time, a cult band. So they weren't like having this mass appeal. They did have Shake Your Moneymaker. I think that was the name of the song. A previous one, 76. I showed that one. So I have a few Flamin' Groovies now. But on this one, 78, Dave Edmunds produced this. And it sounds like a Dave Edmunds album. The thing with the Flamin' Groovies, when they started, they were really into British invasion back in the 60s. That was the sound. That's what they wanted. This got away from that, and they went more into this harder, rockier blues stuff. Here, it does sound like it. And I'm going to play you a sample from the very first one. They thought Gene Clark's from the Byrds, I Feel a Whole Lot Better. It is such a tribute to the Byrds. I mean, it is incredible how well it sounds. Side 1 has very much this British blues invasion type feel. Very Dave Edmunds. Side 2, it's like, let's play the Stones now. So they were losing their own personal kind of sound. Dave Edmunds just they went in more this other direction. Now I like side 2 even better with the Stone stuff, and they do paint it black on there, cool version. But they also do House of the Blue Lights, you know, which is like a standard rock and roll standard. So they do that one. Neat album, very cool. I did enjoy this, the Dave Edmunds, but I love this one, Flamingo. Wow, that thing just kicks ass. So, couple cool Flaming Groovies. It's a great group. You know, it's one of those. You're going to get it. You're going to like it probably, especially if you're into that garage rock and stuff.
Gonna see your mama and papa.
Pink Floyd Relics. Bought this. This was in that, when I picked that one basement that I went to. They had this in here. An album I used to have. There it is, off Harvest. This is actually this. These are bottle openers. It's a bottle opener. The artwork is different in the U.S. than it was in the U.K. In the U.K., when it came out, it's a drawing. It was a drawing done by Nick Mason. Actually, he did like 150 of them he signed that he sold. I bet you those are probably worth something. But here, they went with the bottle opener. This came out in 1971, Relics. It is a compilation of the early tracks. And you really get the Psych feel. And maybe that's what they were trying to tap into. You know, 71, Psych was still out there. It's dying down, but still a lot was happening with it. And they do it, so they take it from a lot of the earlier stuff, which generally was more Syd Barrett oriented. There's a couple tracks, though, on here that they take from the movie More. And it really is neat. And the one of them I'm going to play you a sample from the Nile song that came from the movie More. And I'm telling you, it is a heavy, hard rock. It is so different than a lot of Pink Floyd that you would ever hear. I mean, it's like, God, Black Sabbath would love this sucker. It is so cool. This is a wonderful early comp. I mean, you have Arnold Layne, Interstellar Overdrive, See Emily Play, Bike is on here, Careful With Your Axe, Eugene. I mean, these are just some of these classic early Pink Floyd. You can get them on different albums. It puts it all together on this thing. Just wonderful. Kind of almost like a textured type cover. The feel of it's really, really neat. Just really, really neat. And it does say a bizarre collection of antiques and collectibles. Yeah. If you see it, and if you've never explored early Pink Floyd, it's well worth it. This is a wonderful way to go if you really want to just dip your toe into it. So cool stuff. It is not Dark Side of the Moon or The Wall or anything else, maybe from the 70s.
They just ran away.
have this one next, Thunder Before Dawn. And it is the Indestructible Beat of Soweto, Volume 2. In our label, our label of choice this time is Earthworks. Okay. Nothing for an inner sleeve, really. Hey, did that one have a cool inner sleeve? Oh, I love cool inner sleeve. No. All right. So, Thunder Before Dawn. This came out in 1987. Out of Soweto. So, why? Because Paul Simon, Paul Simon, Graceland, really highlighted South African music. Other musicians had already done this. Paul Simon had heard what other musicians had done. He had heard the music coming down and says, man, I'm just going to go down there and record it. He took it, made it into a big thing. Suddenly, South African music's really, really cool. Their albums are coming up here. I remember I bought Ladies Mix Black Ensemble and a few others because of Paul Simon. So on here, they have what's called, this is township music. Township music, it's kind of a, it's a hard-edged blend of traditional roots music along with praise songs that was developed in the 60s. And so it takes the traditional beats, but praise songs is about uplifting the spirit, making you feel better. Because, they're just, it's South Africa, right? 60s, 70s, 80s, probably even now. They're just getting beat down. What are we going to do? Well, they had to kind of try to find ways to uplift them, to say, we will win, we will conquer. And that's what you get in here. If you think the sound of Graceland, you're going to get a lot of that feel. There's a mix of jazz, blues with tribal music. It's for the most part, it's music that feels joyous, feels good. I liked it a lot. I have no idea what the lyrics are. It's a compilation filled with artists that I will not even attempt on the names, but very nice comp. If you see something like that out there, it isn't like it's going to cost you $1 billion, but it's really, really neat and cool stuff. So much good music came out of Africa. Has come out of Africa, still coming out of Africa to be explored. So we did 2 Flamin' Groovies. How about we'll do a couple of Buddy Miles. And we have here Buddy Miles, A Message to the People, and Roadrunner. Both of these I got because Mark Mad for Vinyl. It's just an incredibly good channel that and just an incredibly great guy. If you haven't ever listened to Mark Mad for Vinyl, the man knows his stuff. Really, really smart. Thrifts a lot, finds great things out there. So check him out. But he sent me samples one night of these Buddy Miles. Yes, I think he also sent it from this. And I go, holy cow. So in the world, George Allen. George Allen's an evergreen. I love George Allen. He's a drummer. That's the name of his channel. George Allen's records and CDs. There's 2 George Allens. There's George Allen, who has a YouTube channel, George Allen, who is now Buddy Miles. His real name is George Allen Miles Jr. He plays the drums. George Allen from YouTube plays the drums. Twins? Maybe. They don't look alike. But, well, let's get into this. So, he was born in 47. George isn't that old. And passed away in 08, I believe. Out of Omaha. He was born in Omaha, Nebraska. So we got to love the man. Omaha, Nebraska. At age 12, his father, who was a jazz player, already had him playing in his band. So he was part of the music. And he's a composer, a drummer. He's a guitarist. He's a producer and a vocalist, so he was doing everything. Buddy Miles, of course, most people know Electric Flag, one of the founders of Electric Flag, and of course the Jimi Hendrix band of Gypsies. Buddy Miles was the drummer, so huge out there figure within the rock world. So, Message to the People. This came out in 1971. And this is funk rock, and funk rock, there's folk, there's soul music, soul fusion in here. The artwork is, it puts me, I haven't shown porn in ages. It's just, I think somehow, I don't know, I went into a religious thing. I'm not sure, but I haven't shown much. But boy, is it going on in those flames. And here we go. We're wearing our American flag. More of a protest thing happening there. This is 1971. So that's what you have happening. Drums keep this thing funky. I mean, it's just a super funky feeling going on within this album. And the horns are fantastic. I really liked it. They do just a marvelous version of the Allman Brothers' Midnight Rider. It is pure sleaze funk. And there's also like Don't Keep Me Working. What was the name of that song? Don't Keep Me Wondering. Don't Keep Me Wondering. Just very good. I'd say this is one of these albums for me. I see but didn't see. I would see this out there. I bought this at my local radio wasteland. I would see this, but yet just go buy it. I don't know why, because of that artwork. I just, Buddy Miles, maybe I didn't know enough about his solo stuff. It is great funk, fantastic funk. And, again, it's just, this is what the VC will done on Mercury. They introduce us, different people like Mark totally introduced me to this, cool inner sleeve, to Buddy Miles, and made me excited about him. And then we have Roadrunner here. This came out in 1977. This is a little more rare. You don't see this one as much. It's funky. It is a funky slice of R&B off the, I believe that's from the Oklahoma City label, T-Town. It is very much horn-driven. You do have like Stink Rock on here, which is just a hard rock and funky, sweaty, fun song. Now this is 77, so you do get, I think, a little more of the feel of the disco, but not heavy into that, okay? You don't have all the strings and that going on, but there is a kind of a feel of that happening out there. Just, again, fun stuff from Buddy Miles. The other album is much better, A Message to the People. I like better than Roadrunner, but this one is worth spinning and liking if you like funk. Folks, there we have it. Thank you very much for hanging out with me this week, and hey, have a great week. We will see all of you, I'm sure, probably Thursday. Appreciate everything. Bye.